The Starship Odyssey glided silently through the void, far from the bustling trade routes that connected humanity's thriving colonies. Captain Aiden Cole, a veteran of countless deep space missions, stood on the bridge, staring at the vast expanse of stars. Despite the familiar sight of the cosmos, there was a strange, unsettling tension in the air, a tension that Cole, with his years of experience, could not shake. "Captain," a voice broke the silence. It was Dr. Ilara Sato, the Odyssey's lead scientist. "I'm picking up something unusual on the sensors." Aiden turned, his brow furrowing. "Define unusual." Ilara's fingers danced over the console, pulling up a holoscreen that projected a visual of the anomaly. "It's like a void. A complete absence of matter, energy, everything. We've never seen anything like this before." The image on the screen showed a patch of space that appeared darker than the surrounding stars, almost like a tear in reality itself. No radiation. No light. Just pure darkness. Aiden approached the screen, his jaw tightening. "Is it moving?" "Yes," Ilara confirmed, her voice laced with unease. "And it's coming this way." Suddenly, the Odyssey's AI, an ancient system salvaged from a derelict station decades earlier, flickered to life. Its voice was low and mechanical, a relic of a bygone era. "Warning. Incoming threat detected. The Great Dark is awakening. Prepare for system-wide extinction." The bridge fell into stunned silence. Aiden exchanged glances with Ilara and the ship's other crew members. The Great Dark? He had heard ancient myths and spacefarer tales about an unstoppable force that devoured galaxies, but no one ever took it seriously. It was the stuff of legends, bedtime stories to scare children. But now, it seemed like more than just a myth. "AI, explain. What is the Great Dark?" Aiden demanded. The AI paused, processing. "The Great Dark is an entity, an ancient force beyond the comprehension of most life forms. It exists to consume and obliterate. All data on the entity has been classified for millennia. Releasing data now." As the AI spoke, a flood of holographic data filled the bridge, showing fragmented records from long-extinct civilizations, each one referencing the same ominous phrase, "the Great Dark." "This is impossible," Ilara whispered, sifting through the files. "These records go back hundreds of thousands of years. If the Great Dark is real, it could be the greatest threat humanity has ever faced." Aiden's mind raced. If the Great Dark was on the move, the Odyssey was the first ship in the path of its return. They had to warn the colonies, the entire galaxy even. But the question lingered, how could anyone stop something that had already destroyed countless civilizations? "Set course for the nearest comm station," Aiden ordered. "We need to get this information out now. Whatever this is, we won't be able to face it alone." As the ship powered up its engines, the darkness on the sensors seemed to pulse, as if aware of their intentions. The Great Dark was coming. And humanity wasn't ready. The Odyssey reached Station Arc-7, a massive communication hub orbiting the desolate planet of Serac. As Captain Aiden Cole disembarked, he knew the urgency of the message they carried. The Great Dark was real, and it was closing in on their galaxy. But as much as he believed in humanity's resilience, he knew they couldn't face this threat alone. Aiden was greeted by Commander Nia Voss, the station's head of operations. She was a no-nonsense leader, known for her efficiency and skepticism. "You've got some nerve, Captain," Voss said curtly, crossing her arms. "Flying in here with talk of ancient myths." Aiden handed her the data pad containing the Odyssey's findings. "It's no myth, Commander. We've seen it with our own eyes. The Great Dark is coming, and if we don't act now, it'll be too late." Voss's face hardened as she reviewed the data, her disbelief fading into cold realization. "If this is true, the entire galaxy is at risk." "It is true," Aiden said firmly. We need to send this out to every system. And not just to humans, we need to form a coalition with other species. It's our only chance. The station's comms network was vast, capable of reaching all corners of human space and beyond. But reaching alien species, particularly those who had been hostile or indifferent to humanity, was a monumental challenge. Decades of mistrust had built walls between them. I don't know if they'll listen, Voss muttered. The Torvins, the Zyth, even the Eldrin, they've had no reason to work with us before. Why would they care now? They'll care because this isn't just our problem, Dr. Ilara Sato interjected, joining them. The Great Dark doesn't discriminate. It'll devour everything. Every species, every world. Voss hesitated, but the weight of the situation was undeniable. All right. We'll send out the message. But you'd better hope they listen. 2 days later, responses began to trickle in. Most were noncommittal or dismissive. A few species refused outright, unwilling to believe in what they called human paranoia. But one message caught Aiden's attention, a response from the Torvins, an insectoid species known for their isolationism and brutal efficiency. The Torvins had experienced something like the Great Dark before, a distant memory buried in their hive mind. They agreed to send an envoy to discuss the threat. It was the first spark of hope in what felt like a galaxy on the brink of oblivion. Aiden, Ilara, and their team met with the Torvin emissary, a towering figure whose compound eyes reflected the dim light of the station's war room. "We remember," the Torvin said in a clicking, metallic voice. "The dark consumed our ancestors. We have prepared for its return. But we did not expect it so soon." Aiden leaned forward. "We need your help. Alone, humanity can't face this. Together, we might stand a chance." The Torvin considered for a moment. "We will join you. But this alliance must extend beyond our kind. You must convince the Zyth and Eldrin. Only united will we survive." Aiden nodded. "Then that's our next mission. We'll bring the others to the table." As they left the war room, Aiden felt a surge of determination. The coalition was forming, slowly but surely. But the Great Dark was approaching faster than anyone anticipated, and the fragile alliances they were forging might not be enough. The coalition fleet hung in the blackness of space, a patchwork of human, Torvin, and Zyth ships. Each vessel was a testament to its people's engineering: sleek, insectoid carriers from the Torvins, bulky, shielded dreadnoughts from the Zyth, and the nimble starships of humanity, all united under a single mission. The coordinates they were heading toward marked the center of the anomaly, the heart of the Great Dark. On board the Odyssey, Captain Aiden Cole stood in the command room, staring at the void through the observation window. The darkness ahead seemed to writhe and shift, like a living entity, and the closer they got, the more oppressive it became. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. This wasn't just empty space, it felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. "Entering the Great Dark in 5 minutes, announced Lieutenant Reyes from the helm. "All systems are stable, but the anomaly's messing with our sensors. We won't be able to track anything inside." Aiden nodded, his jaw clenched. "Stay alert. We're flying blind from here." Dr. Ilara Sato entered the room, her face pale but determined. "Captain, the Zyth have detected energy fluctuations within the anomaly. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. We don't know what we're dealing with." "We'll adapt," Aiden replied. "That's what we do." The comms crackled to life, and the cold, mechanical voice of the Torvin emissary broke through. "We have entered the edge of the dark. Prepare your minds. The void will test your resolve." Aiden turned to Ilara. "What does that mean?" Before she could answer, the ship lurched violently, throwing them all off balance. The Odyssey's lights flickered, and the view outside the window began to distort. The stars, once distant and clear, seemed to twist and stretch, as though reality itself were unraveling. "Captain!" Reyes shouted. "We're caught in some kind of gravitational pull. It's dragging us deeper." Aiden gripped the edge of his seat. "All ships, maintain formation. Stay together." The darkness outside began to creep into the ship itself. Faint shadows flickered on the walls, moving against the light in unnatural ways. The temperature dropped. Ilara's breath came in shallow gasps as she clutched her chest. "It's like it's alive," she whispered. Suddenly, the Odyssey was flooded with whispers, unseen voices echoing through the corridors. At first, they were faint, like the rustling of wind, but soon they grew louder, more insistent. "Captain!" Reyes cried. "The crew, they're hearing things." Aiden knew it wasn't just the crew. The Great Dark wasn't just a physical entity, it was attacking their minds, preying on their deepest fears. He could feel it too, a creeping dread gnawing at the back of his thoughts. His doubts, his failures, they all seemed to resurface in an overwhelming tide. He forced himself to focus. "It's trying to break us. We have to hold together. Everyone, stay at your posts." The ship trembled again, and this time, something more tangible appeared on the view screen, a massive, shadowy figure emerging from the void. It was a creature beyond comprehension, its form constantly shifting, as though it existed between dimensions. It was the Great Dark, a being made of fear and destruction. Aiden's heart pounded. "We need to fight this thing." "But how do you fight the void?" The Torvan emissary's voice came through again. "Not with weapons. You fight with willpower. The Great Dark feeds on fear. Do not give it what it wants." Aiden stared into the abyss, feeling the weight of the darkness pressing in on all sides. This was more than a battle of technology or strategy, this was a battle of the mind, the soul. And if they couldn't withstand the pressure, the Great Dark would tear them apart from within. "Brace yourselves," Aiden muttered. "The real fight starts now." The Odyssey shook violently as the Great Dark loomed before them, a swirling mass of shadow and chaos. Captain Aiden Cole gripped the armrests of his seat, his knuckles white. All around him, the crew struggled to maintain control of the ship, their faces twisted in fear as the oppressive force of the Great Dark weighed heavily on their minds. "This thing's trying to tear us apart," shouted Lieutenant Reyes, fighting with the controls. "Engines are failing." Aiden could feel it too, the crushing presence of the void, gnawing at his thoughts, pulling him toward despair. The Great Dark wasn't just a force of destruction, it was alive, feeding on the fear and doubt of every soul in its path. It whispered to him, dredging up his deepest regrets, his failures as a captain, as a leader. "You'll never win," the voices hissed in his mind. "You're alone, outmatched. Humanity will fall, and the void will consume everything." Aiden clenched his jaw, fighting to stay grounded. "No," he muttered, shaking off the dark thoughts. "We're not alone." Dr. Ilara Sato, pale but resolute, approached him. "The Torvan emissary was right, Captain. The Great Dark feeds on fear. It's attacking us on a psychological level, exploiting our weaknesses. But it can't destroy what we don't give it." Aiden nodded, remembering the Torvan's cryptic warning. The Great Dark thrived on fear, but humanity had more than just fear. They had hope. Determination. The light of something greater. "Ilara, can we amplify that?" he asked suddenly. "Our willpower, our emotions, can we use them against it?" Ilara's eyes widened. "In theory, yes. The neural amplifiers we use for long-range communications, they're designed to send data and thoughts across vast distances. If we recalibrate them, we could project our collective will. Our determination. It could disrupt the Great Dark's hold on us." "Do it," Aiden ordered. "We don't have much time." As Ilara rushed to the engineering bay to recalibrate the neural amplifiers, Aiden turned to the comms. He needed to reach the rest of the coalition fleet, to rally them in this final moment. "This is Captain Cole of the Odyssey to all ships," he broadcasted, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "We're facing an enemy that thrives on our fear. But we are more than that. We are more than fear. We are the light in the dark. Every species, every world, remember why we fight. Remember who we are. Focus on that, and we can turn this tide." The response was slow at first, but one by one, voices from across the fleet answered. The Torvins, the Zyth, even the distant Eldrin warships, all of them rallied together, projecting their collective hope, their will to survive. Ilara's voice came through the intercom. "Neural amplifiers are online, Captain. We're ready." "Do it," Aiden said. The Odyssey's systems hummed to life as the amplifiers activated. Across the fleet, a surge of energy pulsed through the ships, not from weapons or shields, but from the sheer force of willpower, from the refusal to give in. The Great Dark shuddered, its form distorting as the collective light of the coalition pushed back against the void. Aiden could feel it, the darkness retreating, the whispers fading. The Great Dark, once unstoppable, was crumbling under the weight of their combined hope and defiance. "We're doing it," Reyes shouted, his voice filled with disbelief. "We're pushing it back." The swirling mass of shadow began to break apart, tendrils of darkness unraveling into nothingness. The void that had once threatened to consume them all was now retreating, its power waning as the light of humanity, and the light of their allies, blazed through the darkness. In one final pulse, the Great Dark dissipated, vanishing into the abyss from which it came. Aiden slumped back in his seat, exhaustion washing over him. But amidst the fatigue, there was a profound sense of relief, of victory. They had faced the void, and they had won, not with weapons or technology, but with the strength of their collective spirit. Ilara returned to the bridge, her eyes filled with disbelief. "We did it." Aiden gave a tired smile. "No, we did it." As the remnants of the Great Dark vanished into the endless void of space, Aiden knew the galaxy had changed. They had not only defeated an ancient force but had proven that when united, they could overcome even the darkest threats. The light of humanity, and its allies, had prevailed. 9.